we could be sitting on an absolute goldmine of thylacine information and knowledge that just hasn't been explored. All right, everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome along back to a brand new video. And today we're back talking about the recently extinct, or not, thylacine. And we're back to that question as well with Papua New Guinea. Is this the key to unlocking the thylacine? Is it still alive in Papua New Guinea? Flipping out, it's a bit muddy here today, Jesus Christ. I've got something that I want to talk to you about today regarding the thylacine, regarding Papua New Guinea. Is this the strong missing link needed to find it? Let's discuss it, let's explore it, and let's see, shall we, if there is a possibility that the thylacine could still be hanging out in Papua New Guinea. Now, before we do get into the actual main topic of the video, just want to point out what I'm wearing today, the Animal Anomalies sweater. If you want to grab yourself one of those, head over to the website, but more importantly, we've got calendars. The Animal Anomalies 2023 calendar is up for sale. If you want one of those for the new year, head over to the website, links are in the description down below, and get yourself one for like your nan or something. She'll love it. Also, while you're here, smash a like on this video and subscribe if you're new for more thylacine, more weird animals around the world. This is a place for you. Oh, flipping it, flipping it. So if you don't know, the other day something really exciting happened in Papua New Guinea. I've already covered it as a video on this channel, so if you want to actually go and watch that video, it's in like the link up here somewhere. But basically, to cover it short for this video right now, for a little bit of context, a rediscovery happened in Papua New Guinea. Now, an animal that hasn't been seen to Western science for 140 years was rediscovered in Papua New Guinea. 140 years. That is absolutely insane. Basically, there was nobody that is alive today when this animal was last seen. A sort of weird to think about. Not only was it rediscovered, but there was also some video and photo footage to go along with it. So now there is actually footage you can watch of this bird, which was called the Black Naped Pheasant Pigeon. It's a really cool looking thing, and it's known locally as the owl, and I've gone through it way more in the video. And there was this really lovely wholesome moment that was captured on video by Jordan Boersma and his colleague Doka Nason, and it was just this lovely thing. They found this, Jordan showed it to Doka, and the reaction is absolutely priceless. It's what these people live for, and it was just so amazing to see and for it to be shared around the world. And if you're asking me, that's what it's all about. But in the video that I did the other day talking about this Black Naped Pheasant Pigeon, or the AWO, I did mention how Papua New Guinea always seems to bring up these surprises. It always seems to bring up new animals or lost animals, and could it give hope for the thylacine? It seems like every time Western science goes out to Papua New Guinea, new findings are had, new species are discovered, old species are rediscovered, and there's just new information every single time. It's a really interesting place. And it sort of raises the question for other animals that could be there. Are there still some undiscovered animals in Papua New Guinea, or are there some older animals like the thylacine that could be there that we haven't found yet? So that is why we're here today talking about it. Now, this bird was found on an island just off the coast of main Papua New Guinea, and when it comes to the thylacine, it's always spoken about as being on the mainland of Papua New Guinea, or the other side, New Guinea, which is the Indonesian side, Irian Jaya. But what's been made apparent to me throughout this whole pheasant pigeon debacle and the rediscovery is the reason that they did find what they were looking for is because of the locals. They had their own name for it, and they could point them in the right direction. But it didn't just happen straight away. It wasn't like this whole big undercover secret that they all knew this bird was here. A lot of these villages that these researchers went to said they didn't know what it was, but the deeper they got in, the more they started to get these hits. And that's interesting for me because the thylacine does have very similar sort of stories when it comes to that sort of thing. In the 70s, 80s and 90s, researchers actually went over to that part of New Guinea, and they spoke to the local people of the land, and they pointed out these different animals, showing them all these different things, and a few people would point towards the thylacine and they would say Dobsenya, which now we look at it is really interesting because the Dobsenya towards the New Guinea people is the thylacine. They would point to these pictures of the Tasmanian tiger, the thylacine, and they would say their word for it. But not only that, they would also point these people in the direction of where they would see these animals. Far away in these deep valleys, on these cliffs, up the mountains, all that sort of thing is where they would point to this animal. And do you know what's mad? Is these stories have been around a long time before what's happened with the Black Naped Pheasant Pigeon. This isn't something that's happened because of this. This was something that was happening before this. Now, you can say what you want to say about local people and their knowledge on their land. Could it be fictitious? Could it be right? Could it be wrong? Who knows? But in the cases of the Black Naped Pheasant Pigeon, it turns out this knowledge was right. They managed to find this animal through these local people, something that hasn't been seen to Western science in 140 years plus, which is mental. Now, as we all know, the last confirmed thylacine to be alive was 1936, which is less than 100 years ago. And we also know that the thylacine did used to inhabit New Guinea. Big animals as well had gone off the radar, like the New Guinea singing dog, which was found again high in the mountains, but it wasn't seen to Western science for more than 50 years. That happened. So who's to say that the thylacine couldn't also be hanging out there? It's a nocturnal animal, known to be quite elusive. Who's to say in this really remote part of the world that it isn't still there? Now, I always love it when stuff like this happens. When an animal gets rediscovered, I always find it really, really exciting. I'm always like, that is mad. How have we not seen that for such a long time? But the reality of it is, these animals, they were seen, just not to people like me in England and who can use Google, but they were seen by the local hunters in the area, and probably have been for quite a long time. But again, we go back to stories that there are thylacine in New Guinea. These people, these hunters, the same sort of hunters that would have seen the Black Naped Pheasant Pigeon, these sorts of people are seeing some striped looking dog thing that they say is the Dobsenia, which when they point at to a thylacine as pictures is what they call it. Now that, for me, is really, really interesting, and I think should be explored, because really, what's out there? What is in New Guinea for these people to point at something and go, yeah, that's it, and it's a thylacine? I don't know, I just think with this news of the Black Naped Pheasant Pigeon or the owl, I just think there's like a renewed hope now. There's this like dangled carrot where I'm thinking, oh, that's exciting, we should probably maybe have a look at that. Because while I do think that sometimes local knowledge might not be the most reliable, in this case of the owl, it is. And I think if this is true to say of the thylacine or the Dobsenia, we could be sitting on an absolute goldmine of thylacine information and knowledge that just hasn't been explored. Sort of weird to think about, isn't it? But anyway, I wanted to leave that with you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you now think there is renewed hope for the thylacine in Papua New Guinea or New Guinea? What do you think? Do you think the local people actually have these animals over there? Let me know your thoughts down below. For now though, don't forget to like this video and also subscribe if you're new around here and you enjoy thylacine videos, ivory billed woodpeckers, anything like that, it's on this channel. Go and grab yourself a bit of merch and the Animal Anomalies 2023 calendar. For now, I've been Cookie. I will see you in the next one. Take care.